This is the fourth video in a series on Direct Action Online. Click here to be directed to the entire Direct Action Online playlist.
Alright, so let's say you are convinced that Direct Action Online is useful and is a necessity, and you already have a YouTube channel, you publish videos or write blogs, make music, art, propaganda, etc. You participate in protests and use your skills to assist your in real life group. You may even have established an online collective similar to New Wave Syndicate, where together with other enthusiasts you do praxis. But you notice that despite your effort and time you put into this, your views may be low, barely noticeable. Why is that? Well, YouTube's content policies are unclear. The little research that was done showed that there's a system in place where each video is given a value called a preference score, or P-score for short, which determines whether it is to be featured, is it safe for advertising, etc. All of this was found out by independent YouTubers, not disclosed by YouTube itself, which hid that information and remains cryptic in its actions. There was the 2018 apocalypse, which wiped out many YouTube channels and made it unfeasible for many content creators to keep producing content. You could have spent hours recording, editing, animating the video, and then get paid around $7 after a week since premiere. To put it into perspective, you would have made more money if you went out with a guitar and started playing on the street at the same time. On top of that, many channels and videos are shadow banned, effectively forbidden from being featured and being found by using the YouTube search bar or being recommended when watching similar content. If your video concerns the news and politics category, which, let's be honest, is the majority of the leftist YouTube content, then you'll see mainstream media content being suggested in the sidebar and not content of similar creators. Go ahead, pause this video, open a private tab and click on the pop-up. It leads you to the Bernie video that we made. Look into the suggested video sidebar. It will be filled with CNN, Fox News, BBC, etc. and not with content of someone who made similar points on Bernie, such as Kyle Kulinski or Jamie Dore. The reason for this is that YouTube is going the corporate route. Traditional media pressured advertisers to stop advertising on YouTube because of radicalism online. So YouTube caved in and now blocks non-authoritative, as they call it, news sources. YouTube discriminates against LGBT videos as well. Just look into this video made by Nerd City about how LGBT creators, or just anyone talking about LGBT topics, is being demonetized. So there are topics you are shadow banned from talking about, lest you be demonetized. The algorithm is completely unclear, and so we, as YouTube creators and viewers, are effectively left in the dark. So, another issue that was known for some time now is forceful unsubscribing, censure of comments, as well as not being notified of new uploads. This is particularly bad because even if you do have an established subscriber base, they might not know that you have uploaded any content. Your numbers will dwindle, stay much lower than before, and if this was your full-time job, well, it probably won't be for long. We were not spared from the apocalypse, and neither will we be spared from any further actions designed to limit political expression and reach. As a political content creator, you are going to be limited by the algorithm and YouTube itself. They are going to try to solidify that the only acceptable type of political discourse is to be grounded within the liberal political prism. Talks of a revolution, overturning the system, will be censored, because in the eyes of the liberal Silicon Valley elite, we are no better than the alt-right. We are in enemy territory, and we cannot forget that. Consider, for example, YouTube's new content policy, which was enforced after Biden's inauguration. These policies prohibit users from questioning the election results. But just before we go any further, let us clear the air so we don't get any ridiculous conspiracy theorists think that we are implying something which we aren't. Biden did win. There's zero evidence that Trump won. He lost the popular vote by a huge margin and also lost several key states to Joe Biden. He lost by a similar margin in terms of states to the one that he won in 2016 against Hillary Clinton. If anyone says otherwise, any MAGA fool, then they are deluded. and we don't want to be associated with them. The issue, however, with having such a content policy is that this now establishes a precedent to block out any news questioning the results of other elections, including in other countries. We know that Google, the owner of YouTube, has lucrative contracts with the CIA, so would it be so far-fetched to hypothesize a scenario where the CIA interferes with foreign elections and YouTubers like Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kulinski, or journalists like Glenn Greenwald blow the whistle and expose this? But YouTube, in response, blocks and bans the accounts of those questioning the results, simply because the authoritative media, who were selected to be the arbiters of truth, dismiss any questioning of US foreign policy as fake news. This is a dangerous trend, and it leads to centralization of the internet, of YouTube, under the control of powerful elite organizations, whose sole purpose is to undermine democracy, to undermine the power of the people. Just watch the Second Thoughts video on the CIA, find out how the agency operates and how dangerous it is for the public good. Consider the Bolivian coup. CIA failed to interfere in the 2019 elections of that country sufficiently enough to prevent Evo Morales from returning to Bolivia. Now imagine if YouTube already had this policy then and began censoring and shadow banning any news contradicting the official CIA/Bolivarian opposition narrative. Isn't this a definition of a deep state? Of powerful governmental and private institutions governing every facet of your existence, where findings from credible sites like WikiLeaks will be censored by Google and YouTube. We truly live in dangerous times, and the worst is yet to come. But let's not be doomers about it. There are platforms that you can join and things that you can do to challenge this. As a result, in this video, we would like to give you strategies to fight back, as well as some YouTube alternatives which you should check out. After all, YouTube is the biggest video sharing platform that we all use, often daily. It is a source of income, information, recruitment for so many people, and therefore needs to be accountable to the YouTubers that make the site what it is, with the ultimate aim for us to control it.
In part 3 of the Direct Action series, we mentioned that you should join the YouTube Union if you're a viewer. This is as important, if not more, if you're a content creator. You should use your reach to advertise the YouTubers Union and its efforts trying to change YouTube from the outside. It really doesn't take a lot, and you'll be taking part in a community of creators impacted by YouTube's unfair policies and skewed algorithm. Since part 3 premiered, George Brave published an important update to YouTubers Union. Fairtube, the organization started by him and IG Metal, is now officially registered as a legal organization in Germany. Please watch this video published on George's channel, detailing what exactly is on the agenda. In summary, for a year, you will be able to join Fairtube for free, as they are making steps and mounting challenges to unfair YouTube policies. We recommend you to join by going to www.fairtube.info and see what they got to offer themselves. As a side note, they have a channel breakdown community activity, which we will apply for, and you should too as a content creator, in order to get some tips and help when it comes to growing your channel from other content creators. Of course, don't forget to join their forums as well and their Facebook to help out, voice your disappointment, vote in polls, and actually become a voice to fight the YouTube treatment of its creators. As a YouTube creator, consider branching out onto other platforms. Do have YouTube as your main, and only consider alternatives as an afterthought. So, if YouTube ever takes down your channel or shadow bans you, then you would still be able to build a following elsewhere, and at the same time, you would be helping a competitor to YouTube grow. In so doing, you would be building a bridge between your viewers and the alternative platform on which you would be posting, which would lead to less time spent on YouTube. Ergo, less money made from advertisements for YouTube. You are letting YouTube know that it may be the big dog, but it's not the only cannon in town, and its monopoly is not impenetrable.
There are a few services which we would like to highlight. They are presented in no particular order. You may decide which appeal more to your needs and which less. So that being said, number 1, DailyMotion. This is by far the biggest and direct competitor to YouTube. It provides a decently sized user base with potential for growth on the platform. However, it also inherits some of YouTube's oppressive policies, as well as prioritization of authoritative news sources over user-generated ones. It may, however, be a useful tool for growing your audience, making your presence known to the user base there, especially if your videos only border on political activism and the focus is different. Number 2, archive.org. You may know this site if you ever use the Wayback Machine. That's because it is operated by the Internet Archive, a non-profit organization which aims to archive millions of books, movies, websites, music, programs, etc. What is less known is that the site also contains community sections where users of the site are free to upload their videos and whatever they may wish to share with the world. The user base may not be large, but it is growing. Year after year, a consistent growth trend is noticeable. The mission of the library is to preserve important cultural documents and information. Uploading to the site may not give you a lot of views and subscribers, but it will preserve your videos and your hardware for future generations to witness as the site grows. It is also worthy to mention that a couple of leftist creators already do upload their videos onto the archive, and if you look, you may be positively surprised that your favorite content creators are already there. It is therefore, out of principle, very useful to create an Internet Archive account and start uploading your work there, especially if YouTube takes down your account. It is also recommended that if you want to link your work elsewhere, that you do it through the archive due to the website's stability, as it is likely to be available for many years into the future. Number 3, BitChute. This is the platform to which many alt-writers migrated after being targeted. If you enter the site, the homepage may discourage you, but that's the thing. While it is a cesspool of the worst, nevertheless, the presence of genuine political opposition to their far-right lunacy may serve as neutralization for other creators to also migrate their content there. We need an alternative to YouTube, and we are not in the position to pick where we go to survive, and besides, posting content there will target the audience there. Sure, expect many dislikes and awful comments, but in the end, even if you're capable of making a single person there think about the world differently, then wasn't it worth it? After all, where there was pole, there came lefty pole after. So why not be that alternative from the inside? Number 4, Lbry/Odysee. This is the newest platform on our list. It is a decentralized, completely open source, blockchain-based digital content marketplace that is currently a fast-growing alternative to YouTube. It was made by its creator, Jeremy Kauffman, in an attempt to recapture some of the freedom associated with early internet, where everyone could voice their own views and build a platform for themselves, without being slowed down and gutted by the corporate giants. This is a platform which aims to give back power to the creators. It aims to become a competitor, and already some political content creators migrated there, like JReg, Peter Coffin, or Proletarian TV. The fact that it is blockchain-based and open source means that there is no way for this platform to end up like YouTube. Odysee officially launched in December 2020, but since the beta version went live in September, more than 400,000 people have posted a total of 5 million videos to the site, which is already attracting 8.7 billion monthly active users. Google was actually so scared that it removed the Lbry app from the Play Store, so do consider migrating your content there. Accelerate YouTube's demise. The only thing that is not great with Odysee is the fact that in order to migrate your content automatically from YouTube, you need to have at least 400 subscribers on your YouTube channel. So if you don't have that yet, you may need to either expand your audience on YouTube first or upload manually for the time being. We think it's worth it though. That's why we started our own Odysee channel. Additional mention, TikTok. Just to be clear, you are limited to 60 seconds when it comes to the clip duration, so this isn't an alternative to YouTube. Rather, due to its large audience, you should think about making viral, TikTok-exclusive political videos, which effectively gives you an opportunity to amass a large following, despite being shadow banned and targeted by YouTube. When you publish lengthier videos elsewhere, you could then direct that audience onto your main platform to get support this way. Think about these videos as mini trailers to your main content on YouTube. Currently, Leaflets, a leftist TikTok account publishing political content, does just that, redirecting those interested to their YouTube channel. Of course, there are many more platforms and you can let us know about them in the comments. Remember though, whatever platform you choose, becoming an early adopter will let you capitalize on an audience that is sick and tired of YouTube and its policies.
As a leftist content creator, your place on YouTube as a platform is uncertain. Whether the content you watch and upload is going to be promoted is also uncertain. YouTube keeps us in the dark. Its policies change behind closed doors. Users get shadow banned and their content is deprioritized in favor of traditional mainstream media. We are in enemy territory. You need to advertise yourself on multiple platforms at the same time. Twitter, Reddit, etc. Regardless of what you think of these venues. Leave YouTube comments on other YouTube creators' videos. Reach their audiences like this. If you're shadow banned, then getting notoriety in the comment sections is likely one of the only ways to actually grow an audience from YouTube. Use hashtags in your descriptions. While the standard YouTube algorithm will deprioritize you, searching by hashtag may actually allow your video to be shown on the page, even if you have a small channel. For example, click on the force to vote hashtag. You can scroll and see plenty of smaller channels, often with under 100 subscribers. Be represented on that page. Use this to your advantage. Always have some hashtag, and likely what's popular on Twitter will also be popular on YouTube. Start uploading your content to YouTube's competitors. Build a following there. Decentralized open source platforms such as Odysee will never become what YouTube is now. So branch out, initiate the great migration, contact your favorite YouTubers and tell them about these alternatives so that their content will appear there too and will lead to a gradual shift. But remember, whatever alternative you decide to use, when you want to share a video on Twitter, Reddit, etc., then don't use the YouTube link to that video. Use the alternative one, if it exists, or if you must, then link them both. Give this option to the people. Whether they want to view your video on YouTube or an alternative, only via collective effort will we be able to popularize the alternatives to the mainstream. Together, we need to organize and adopt effective strategies and tactics to challenge YouTube. If we collectivize and increase our numbers, if we dedicate ourselves and fight via YouTubers Union, then long term we will see results that will change how the website and its TOS policies function, along with more transparency about its key decisions. If YouTube refuses to concede, refuses to listen to us, then we'll move elsewhere, and gradually YouTube will become the new MySpace, deserted, corporate, being only a shadow of its former self. Use Odysee to watch and help you out your favorite creators, and use FreeTube for videos that can't go on Odysee. De-Googlify your life. Use third-party platforms. We hope that you took these guidelines to heart. It's important to force Google to change its attitude. No company deserves to have a monopoly over video content, so it is our duty to challenge that. So join the YouTubers Union. Let's collectivize, edify, overcome.